Mr. Truck, I'm here in Detroit. Look, breaking news. This is the 2020 Super Duty. I'm here with Ford to learn about all this cool stuff. Some I can talk about it, some I can't talk about it.
Look, there's an escape alien. Look at this, a homeless guy. Oh, are you videoing now?
Yeah, we're doing a video. Come along for the ride. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. I'll jump in the back.
You can go goose hunting in the mountains with this giant moonroof.
Mr. Truck, this is the 2020 Super Duty.
2020?
Yes.
Holy cow, I love these seats. Two-tone colors?
Yeah, it's limited, but unfortunately we can't drive it yet until later in the fall?
Oh, did you see where they moved the brake controller up?
Yeah, but there's a trailer.
I know, but that's down below it, out of the way where nobody cares.
I think it's because you had the feedback to them and they listened.
Are you thinking I complain a lot? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cody Cushion makes your trailer a smoother ride. Isolates between the truck and the trailer, so your trailer doesn't fill the truck doesn't fill the trailer. Your horses have a better ride, your cargo has a better ride, you have a better ride in the truck.
Ford is constantly getting inputs from customers like me and everybody else. And this brake controller started out right there in 2005. Their first one have integrated brake controller. And then they came out with this Pro Trailer Backup Assist, and they moved the brake controller below that will make it harder to see. And if you're trying to stop a trailer from swaying by hitting the brake controllers separately, or getting crowded off the road, or on ice, or any of those times when you need to manually hit the brake controller, you've got to be able to get to it fast. And I'm so glad it's on the right side. Everybody's gone to the right side now, all the manufacturers, and this is the best place to put it. But Ford moved it back up where it was, in a very good place that will save lives. And the Pro Brake Up Assist knob is still down where it's very usable. David Ives, You're the big Ford engineer of all the diesels, right? Well, yeah, you are, because you're the 3-liter diesel too.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
He is Diesel, Mr. Diesel, and this is the new 6.7 V8 for the 2020 Super Duty, and it's got some changes. Besides being made it to a 10-speed, there's some other cool stuff. And you're just, is this new for this year?
It's modified for this year. This is the oil separator that goes on the engine to filter the oil out before the gases are returned back to the intake manifold. Okay,
just keeps the oil in instead of squirting all over the place or going to a PCV filter or any of that. That's pretty cool. It's got top secret stuff inside there. Now, does that have to be changed at a certain interval?
Service interval for that on the current model is every 100,000 miles. We have not released the service information for the new engine yet, but you'll see that when the engine comes out later this fall.
Okay, and now this has got more power, torque, horsepower. You aren't telling us those numbers yet, but it's a bigger turbo.
I wouldn't say it's a bigger turbo. It's a lower inertia turbo capable of making more torque and more horsepower, and at the same time delivering quicker throttle response and better fuel economy.
So no, hardly any turbo lag, the same as before, or where are we at?
Turbo lag is improved over what we had before, so throttle response is going to feel quicker for the customer, and the customer also notice it when he rolls into the fuel pumps. The fuel mileage is going to be improved over the second generation engine.
Well, that's good, because you'll have that improvement. You'll have the 10-speed improvement fuel mileage. You can get all kinds of good fuel mileage now. This is a good thing. Yep. Now, tell me too, what about the exhaust brake? Is the turbo is that going to work the same and produce the same?
It's going to produce just like it did on a second generation engine. So when you're in tow haul mode, you tap the brakes, and the truck will downshift, and it'll operate right where it needs to keep you on track for your speed. Desired speed all the way down the hill at whatever payload or trailer weight you're running. So this new turbocharger has all those same features built right into it, and in fact they're enhanced in that we are now supporting the vanes on both sides instead of just a pin and an axle on the one side. So the efficiency of the device is significantly improved over the outgoing model.
Okay, so you got the same variable vane, just improved.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, we can walk around here, and you can actually see it here on the other side of the.
Okay, cool. What is there any changes else on this side? I mean, I see the oil cooler. It looks like the same oil cooler you had before.
Yeah, that's the same oil cooler that we had before. It's fully capable of doing the job that we have mapped out for this engine. We do have a new 2500 bar fuel system, so we've upgraded the rails, the high pressure lines. The injectors are new for 2020, And then over here you see the fuel pump is enhanced to handle that higher pressure as well.
Oh, cool. So you
Still
got
the
more
same
pressure.
location, but more operating pressure and more fuel flow than ever before.
Okay, so you got higher pressure in the line, this direct injection, all the cool stuff. And anything about the intake that's different, or?
Yeah, there's some minor modifications here. We've changed components. The upper intake is now aluminum to provide better heat protection since it rides over the top of the turbocharger, which runs at a fairly high temperature. And on the other hand, the lower intake is now made from a composite plastic to insulate better and provide less weight. And it operates in a cooler environment, so we could move to a thermoplastic material.
Okay, and we're still reverse flow, so your
still
intake's
have
on the
the,
outside, exhaust in the middle.
That's right. We still have the inboard exhaust feature, which allows the outside of the engine to run very cool next to the steering assembly on the left side of the truck and next to the AC and heating components on the right-hand side of the truck. And the valley of the engine contains all the hot parts, which is better for thermal management and better for throttle response as before.
Yeah, and it's, it's a little shorter route to the turbo. That's kind of
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, and that improves throttle response.
Yeah. A double axle turbo design. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so,
I'll get a B-roll of that. It's good.
Yeah, so the vanes are now allowed to run closer to the housing, which provides more efficiency. We've also added a fully electronic actuator here that is more responsive in cold weather. That's another improvement we've done to the turbocharger for the 2020 engine.
So what is the actuator, is that what makes the vanes move, or?
So you see this linkage here, this 4-bar linkage here. So this is an electric drive motor. The previous version had an electro-hydraulic driver that is fine most of the time, but it doesn't move quite as fast in cold weather.
I remember the first diesels had that in it. There was a hydraulic electric kind of setup, kind of like the old injectors were a hydraulic type push.
Right.
And that's good. This is the intercooler here.
This is the exhaust gas recirculation cooler, so what we know is the EGR cooler. Yeah, and this is pretty much carried over from the second generation version. It had plenty of capacity to do the emission control or NOx emission control that we're looking for, so we carried it over.
Well, that's cool. Still a heavy duty engine. Okay. Well, thanks a lot. I think that's all I need to know.
All right, sir.
Appreciate you telling me all this.
Yeah, and stay tuned. We'll have performance numbers later this year.
Well, that'd be good. I got to know torque and payload and the horsepower and trailer capacity. Mike Pruitt. Hey, we got a Pruitt reservoir by us. They named that after you?
I don't think so.
Okay. This is what, a Lariat? Oh, this is a King Rancher.
This is our limited.
This is the limited. This is the very top line.
Yeah.
We're going to show you some of the cool stuff on it and the new features on the mirror and what's the little camera in the front.
So coming with 2020, we're bringing in pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking. And that's a fancy term for talking about detecting passengers or a stopped vehicle, and then us charging the brakes and then applying those brakes to mitigate or reduce the collision.
Well, that's cool. I've always said these newer vehicles, you would have to work hard to have a crash because they try like crazy to save your life. It's amazing. There's that camera for the emergency braking. Somebody runs in front of you. It comes up with all the warnings probably in your dash, and that saves some lives. There's all these mirrors and extra mirrors, not mirrors, cameras. All these extra cameras and device things. This makes it really hard to even crash. Well, that's cool. Now we got it on great big trucks. I like that idea.
So we have, it leverages a camera that's up in the windscreen, and it's looking forward the whole time. And on vehicles with our automatic cruise control, it also tries to leverage that radar. So it's trying to look forward, looking for those instances and preventing the collisions.
Oh, that is cool. I love adaptive cruise control. It's one thing I didn't get that I really, really want. But yeah, I'm saying Ford's one of the few ones that uses adaptive cruise control with your trailer. It sets the speeds, will brake the trailer, and that is cool. That is new. I love that. All right, we're going to do the mirror next. I love these big towing mirrors that Ford has, and they've improved them for 2020. So tell me how all that works.
So that's right, Ken. These big trucks, we have these big mirrors, and when you pull into those tight spots, a lot of times you're having to fold the mirrors in. But now, with the 2020 Super Duty, we have an auto fold feature. You configure it in the cluster, and every time you hit lock, the truck will automatically fold the mirrors in.
Awesome. Now, will that key fob telescope in and out too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Okay. That is too cool because these bigger mirrors, you really need to fold them in at Walmart parking lot and everywhere else in banks, drive-through, my favorite McDonald's.
Drive-throughs for sure, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now show me what you've changed about the buttons.
So it's not new for 2020, but we just wanted to point out we do have a dedicated button for the telescoping on the mirrors. So you're not trying to surf through a menu. You have a dedicated button, just telescope it in or telescope it out.
Oh, that's
really
cool.
straightforward.
That's easier. It used to be about 3 buttons, or at least you had to push them 3 times. Now you just do the one thing. I love it. Yeah, these are wonderful mirrors. I think everybody's going to be copying you because mirrors are big and they're in the way, but I love them. And Mike, you know all about the changes to this, and you know me, I'm always complaining about how tall the trucks are and all that. You guys have made some changes to these, to the front and the rear axle. So tell me about that.
Okay. Yes, Kent. New for 2020, we've actually improved the entry and exit into the vehicle by lowering the ride height. So in the front, we've lowered it by about 1/2 an inch, and in the back, for our single rear wheel vehicles, we've lowered it about 1.5 inches. And on our dual rear wheel vehicles, we've lowered it about 1 inch. That's going to improve the getting the access to when you're backing up and hooking up your trailers, especially in your gooseneck and your fifth wheel.
Well, that's cool. You know, I keep calling these the 2 tall trucks, and now Ford's done something about it. They've actually lowered it. Actually, it's the whole bed will come down, and that is just too cool because you hook up the goosenecks, you hook up the kingpins on fifth wheel trailers, and you need that. We don't need these trucks to all be lifted. If you want to lift a truck, go buy a lift kit. So I'm a trailering guy, so I point everything out to trailers. And I'm so glad that they've lowered these trucks now. I guess that's the new trend, is to try to make the truck fit the trailer. And that's all about safety too. You know, if you don't have the angle right on your trailer, your brakes don't work right because the front axle's up too high and that might lock up on you. So we want the trailer to work, and we don't want the truck to cause a problem with the trailer not working the way it needs to for proper braking. But I love this. Oh man, you gotta love the Limited. Lighted up in your door sill, all the 2-tone colors, giant moonroof, and all this leather in the Limited. Awesome. This one has seat belts for 5. Giant console. Yep, this is my dream truck. As soon as we hit oil in my garden.
Here, this is the 2 new 10-speeds. The one on the left is in the Super Duty. The one on the right is in everything else, from the Mustang, the Ranger, the F-150. So you can see the size difference. Even though they may have similar structures, there is a lot more robustness in the Super Duty. This is the plug on the back. You got your regular trailer plug and a plug below that for the cameras. Now it's in the bed. It used to be in the bumper. So they've moved it to keep it from, you know, getting drug in the ground and all that. So now both plugs, camera and trailer. And of course they've got new wheels. Now I was trying to find out about 12 ply, 10 plies. They still have the 12 ply and a 450. The other ones have 10 plies. I thought maybe the big weight increase we'd have that change. And this is the grills. Here's the base grill, the XL work truck grill. And then this is the STX, which is a work truck plus kind of a thing, which is a nice package. And then here's what you'll get on the XLT. Of course, there's several models of this. This is the XLT Chrome. They do this thing where they do a package and they do a Chrome package, and on it goes. Then this here is the Lariat. We're almost to the top. Very nice package. Some more options on it. Of course, some more Chrome, and then more Chrome on the Lariat Chrome package. And I'm a Chrome guy. A lot of people aren't, but you know, Ford loves the Chrome too. Here is the King Ranch, one of my favorite ones. They were the first ones to come out with this kind of luxury, and everybody's kind of copying them to get that same look. And then, of course, the King Ranch Chrome. Who could do without the King Ranch Chrome? That would be if I had all. Now, Ford had this launch. They had 2 big Lariat 450s, and this is what they were pulling with them. This is the RV, a triple axle RV. Of course, all these companies want to show how big their trucks will tow, and you see that everywhere you go, whether it's a Ram event, a GM event, or a Ford event. You'll see these giant trailers. This is a big RV. I think they're 7,000-pound axles, which would be 21,000 gross vehicle weight rating. They didn't give us a lot of specs on these display trailers. They can barely fit them in this shed that they took us to. And here's the horse trailer. This is from Transwest here in Colorado. And this is a Cimarron. Looks like the 4-horse with a living quarters. So you can actually, live in the front like an RV. Big trailer, and this happens to be a 2-axle one because it couldn't get a 3-axle to fit inside here.